Ugh. Welcome trainer. Welcome trainer bear. Welcome trainer. Welcome Ward Bear to Welcome Trainer and a Ward Bear. Bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno. Bum bum bueno bueno bum 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 bueno bum 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 bum. Oh hell yeah. Bum bum bueno. Where is Nina? Nina, Bobina, come here right now. We're gonna go party right now. Bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno, 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 bum bum bueno. Bum bum bueno, 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 bum bum bueno, bueno, bum bum bum. Gotta get your leashes. Don't fucking jump on me. What the fuck am I doing? There we go. Leash is unplugged. Alright guys, don't get too excited. Let me get my sandals real quick. Hold on. Stand by, little puppies. A lair bear! Newfoundland bear. Welcome everybody. I apologize for not being my ugly little face being on stream. I was getting the puppies prepared so they can go potty. Alright. Alright. What's going on, everybody? Rocky, chill. Good girl, Nina. Good girl. Rocky, chill. Dan Barone, welcome. Rocky, don't even think about it, bro. Oh shit, wrong leash. Oh shit! Ugh. I love big dogs, but they're just so strong. Rocky, go to the bathroom and stop focusing on the other dog. Ugh. No, down boy. Down boy. You were on a leash for a reason. Sounds like a great time, Warbear. Give Courage Bear our best. Wait, what is Courage Bear doing right now? James Excel, welcome. Good boy, Rocky. That's why I brought you out here. So you could go potty. Yeah, dude, big dogs are like, so Rocky is a Doberman Pinscher, and then Nina is a pit bull. So both really big dogs, and I've got both their leashes in one hand. And so like as they're doing shit, I'm like, ugh! 2 dogs with one hand. Rocky, you good to go? What's up, bro? Alright, we're going inside now. Ugh! Negatory, Ghost Rider. Your desires have been denied. We're going back inside. Ugh. He's in the driver's seat. Alright, Rocky. Get your harness off, little buddy. And now you can chill. Nina, let's get that color off you, girl. Good girl. Good girl, Nina. Rocky, stop being an attention whore. Good girl, Nina. Plain runner, welcome, welcome. I was just letting the puppies that I'm dog watching, whatever. Right now, go take a potty. Good girl, Nina. What's going on? Oh, where's Handy Adam Bear? He had first priority on this. Is he back on yet? I was kind of preoccupied. Rocky, up. Good boy. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Alright, so if Handy Adam Bear is not on right now, then does anyone else want to jump on real quick? Turn this off again because I hate using this, but whenever I've got like little audio, the Bluetooth is a really good I guess compensation tool. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I'm sure Handy Adam Bear will be back sometime soon. Newfoundland Bear, tell me something interesting. Yeah, you know what, might as well. Let's do a terp slurp. I have yet to do that today. Ooh, before I do so though, gotta re-up my water. What's going on, guys? Yes, I'm using tap water which is filled with fluoride. Don't judge me. I've yet to buy a Berkey filter. At least I don't buy Boll & Branch sheets. You gotta start somewhere. Oh. "100% pure pine gum spirits." So the thing about pine gum spirits is apparently if you take too much, it's a poison. But if you take just the right amount, it's very beneficial. The reason why I bring that up is because I don't really measure it. I just kind of do a rough estimate and hope I don't die. My logic is that I've already almost died so many times. Like, even before I joined the Marine Corps. Naturally, I joined the Marine Corps, obviously in combat and shit. But, like, I've almost died so many times. If turpentine is really going to take me out, like... Handy Adam Bear, you're back! Woo! before I started streaming, and for most of my life, I've told like everyone I know basically, I'm fucking Superman. I'm awesome. Most of that was retarded pride.
Hello.
But hello, any out there.
Can I do a quick JapJap impression?
Hold on. Let me connect this. I want your audio. I want to be able to hear your audio well.
Connecting doctor.
Hold on.
Doctors. I've got my hearing device plugged into my ears. Silicone. Fits snugly.
Oh, I hear you now. Hello?
Hello.
I can hear you. Kind of.
Okay.
Like you're still kind of weak.
Can I do a quick...
All right, I
Can you
took
do
off my
what?
headphones. I'll just talk to you. Can I do a quick JapJap impression?
Of course, brother. Mock me all you want, dude. That'd be awesome.
Okay. So this one time at the Marines, I almost died. And then, I didn't. But this one time, I almost, I really could have died, but I didn't. God saved me again. I don't know. Maybe there's something I should do in life. Maybe God's trying to tell me there's a reason I should be alive. But anyway, one time at Marines, I almost died. Yeah. Because you just said I've almost died so many times. I'm just just came into my mind. American Pie, which is a horrible movie. Nobody ever watch it. But
Dude, I'm dying right now.
And the thing is, you can say that in front of children, and they won't know what the heck you're talking about. It's so good.
Oh goodness, that's amazing.
Well, that's the form of that's the form of flattery, right? It's supposed to be the best form of flattery. Is impression or...
Well, it's funny because if I was self-conscious or lying about it, I'd be like, how dare you? Right. But because you're accurately identifying a real thing that has happened in an extremely comedic way, I'm just dying.
Yeah, that was good because I know you probably have. I can imagine because I haven't even been in combat and I've almost died quite a few times. So what were we?
Wait, I heard something about combat.
Oh, I mean, I never went into combat, and I've almost died many times. So.
Hold on, Handy Adam. I'm gonna try and. Oh, I can hear you way better now.
Can you hear me now?
Well, last time, remember my audio fucked up, and so I just thought that using that would work, but that actually made things worse, and I was struggling to hear you, but now I can hear you way better.
We need to figure out. I think we need to probably eventually figure out a really good system of communication technology, whatever we're using, and then just issue out the same thing to all the bears so everyone's has the same device, we all have really good audio, really good video, and it's just part of the Beartarian Legion, so to say. I don't know if the Legion is part of the art, are they the special forces, or is that just
no, so
regular old
the special forces
guy?
Are the Gravy Seals, but the Legion of Beartaria is a separate entity that's based on honoring God and increasing your physical abilities, working out and shit.
Right. It's really an amazing thing.
What's up?
Oh, go ahead.
So my first thought was using ham radio, but Blender Bear, welcome. Ham radio wouldn't necessarily be the most efficient way to communicate the way that we do. I think we would the best way to do things is that we would have to establish our own internet.
Yeah, like almost a direct line to Beartarian strongholds.
Yeah.
You know, a certain sort of. I mean, ESP seems like the most. I mean, we're closer to ESP than we are in the infrastructure of 5G, probably.
Well, dude, not all bears know how to do ESP.
Yeah, but we can have classes, tutorials. You can learn anything, you know. We can do YouTube videos. No, I keep thinking like, we're talking over these things. I'm like, oh, we should have better technology, and then I'm really just like, no, we just need to like get together. Like we need to have a big barbecue.
All right, so Handy Adam, what would be easier to provide ESP classes that would also necessarily require these like rapid spiritual development of all students, so that they had the spiritual ability to do ESP?
Keep talking.
And then, or would it just be easier because of how we know the internet works to build a bunch of physical nodes in the pre-existing Beartaria?
I don't know. You're going to have those nodes removed sometime, and that can be really invasive. So might as well just.
Well, no, the nodes are not a physical like implant. The nodes would be like antennas and shit.
Just put one on my forehead and one on my right hand. I'll be good. You know, that's a funny thing to say too. Like when you go check out at the store, just kind of fiddle around with your card and be like, man, this is so frustrating. I wish they'd make it easier. Like if they could just put something in my right hand or my forehead and I can just get through this line faster. And then just see their reaction. And so usually they'll, you know, look at you, depending on where you are, I guess, but they'll look at you and they'll be like, oh, I know what you're talking about. But more often than not, they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. The book of Revelation, the Bible, read it. You know? But anyway, I like to have fun with my cashiers. They're just bored working all day, checking people out. You got to like lift them up a little bit, you know? It's good to have fun with people. Like just like kick people out of their like normal humdrum existence and just be silly and wacky and funny, or just say something funny, or just like nowadays, like all you have to do is just be like, yeah, I don't like to kill my young. And they're like, really? That's weird. I like that idea. You're like, yeah, I don't like to eat them, sacrifice them, anything. No blood, nothing. I love them. I keep them. We want more. Wow, that's a great concept. You know, it's like,
I think that this is the natural default for the bears, though, or people with like our kind of mentality, is in just like normal, natural situations, we just kind of try and bring up new topics or make people smile, or just like raise the frequency in whatever way is appropriate for the situation. It's just a kind of a natural response, like knee-jerk response for us.
Yeah. I think when you get to a point where nobody's having more fun than you, you want to bring people up to your level of fun. You know?
Exactly.
Because you're like, nobody's having more fun than this, but it's like, you're like, it's not my fault. It's not like, I mean, it's like, it's not all me. Like, I don't want to be boastful. Like, nobody's having more fun than us.
You could have
like,
just as much fun
you know,
as me.
It's all God's grace that we're having this much fun. So it's like, you want to just like be like, hey guys, you can have fun too. Just stop whacking off.
Stop squirting and you'll have more fun, I swear.
That was so funny. A cat just attacked. I keep on pushing this idea of like, I want to be the crazy, just do something crazy. And I got all these kids, right? The wealth, right? We know, you guys understand what wealth is, right? And so I'm fighting against all of this world that thinks wealth is grabbler dollars. And I'm like, no, guys, potential, like power, like, do you realize I've got all these children and they're ungrabbled and they can bring joy and smiles to everyone and they're just like fun and like, you know, people need that. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's make a family circus, like theater music thing, and let's get in a bus and drive around the United States to different places, and and make an infrastructure of food, like barter. I'm like, hey, we'll teach your children how to sword fight if you give us some of those tomatoes.
Dude,
children need to
have
know
you
how to
ever
sword fight.
considered turning your bus into a mobile agriculture center?
Well, a mobile, we would have to get another bus, I think, or a big trailer, which is not out of the realm of possibility, but it would be like lots of costumes, of course, the children, and, but there's materials everywhere, so we wouldn't have to bring very many materials. And then we could go places and help people learn how to make stages and amphitheaters,
Well,
and
yeah,
all that
like,
stuff.
obviously your whole
And then
artistic vibe
gig.
is the main thing.
Right.
But what I'm thinking of is like doing your whole artistic wonderful thing, but also simultaneously like having a mobile self-sufficient garden.
Okay,
Right?
I thought of that. I thought about turning the whole roof of the bus into like a little like aquaponic garden, and could collect rainwater.
That's what I'm
to keep
saying,
it going.
bro.
Yeah, I thought about that. And have it like nice, so there'll be like grass like through the center, so you could like walk on the grass and then tend
Yeah. Like
the tomatoes
reinforce the
on the
roof.
side.
So like middle of the night you can just like lay in the grass and like be surrounded by your garden.
Yeah.
Dude, you got possibilities on the top of your bus right there.
Well, and check
Bajo,
this out, because
you
I
break
knew a long
up.
time ago that people had connected to the electricity generated by the photosynthesis and roots and all sorts of stuff like that in order to do simple power. But I'm like, oh, like what could you do? I don't know. Like the sky is the limit. Like we're looking at bumblebees vibrating through the air, not being blown off course.
Well, did you hear about
Like,
that
do we
Russian?
realize how amazing that is?
Yeah. Did you hear about that Russian that used beetle wings to make a levitating like platform?
No.
Yeah, dude, there was this Russian scientist who found a particular species of beetles, and he literally made a hoverboard because he took a bunch of these beetle wings and figured out how to properly resonate with their frequencies.
Right.
That was in the 1800s.
Right. Dude, I'm really like getting this like feeling. I'm like, remember, yeah, that was last night. I was like, make music and save the world, right? The ecstasy, like inspiration, But I'm like, that actually could work out. Like resonance, like I was thinking the voice of God. God said, let there be light, It's like the voice of God is like the fabric of what we know as reality of creation, And I'm like, It's all about resonance. And, every time you look closer and closer into, the tiniest of atom specks, it's just like, oh, it's just more space, just points of energy that are bouncing off each other in some, amazing synchronicity, And so I'm thinking like, there could be a real way to kind of idea.
So we've got the loading screen of
whiteness,
or loading circle of whiteness. Say again?
Yeah, like Ohm.
Oh yeah, Ohm. Yeah.
With that crazy symbol and everything like that. And I'm like thinking like, okay. And I don't know. And I'm like, with me, like I figured out how to hack things. Like, I'm actually not a very good musician. Like I learned how to play saxophone all the way up to high school. So I kind of had that. And now I'm like really having fun with it. So I'm exploring like, oh, I can really kind of do anything with a saxophone. So like, what can I do now? So we'll see where that goes. But I figured out how to hack music so I could play in bands. Like you can transpose a keyboard to E flat minor and just play on the black keys, and you'll be in tune with the band. Like, there's all these fun things. So you could basically say, hey, kid, just play the black keys. And little children can jam out with like a full piece band, you know, that knows what they're doing.
Kind of similar to the C chord.
Yeah, exactly. All the white keys, exactly.
Yep.
And but it's like, I do that with everything. I do that with like work. I do that with like, I just want to get in business. I don't want to like sit there and practice. So in that way, I'm just like, I really respect those practiced musicians because they put in the time, they put in the hours, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these guys, some of these bears are amazing. I think all of them are, of course, amazing, but you listen to little snippets like, oh, I'm going to break out my guitar real quick. And you're just like, whoa, like, you're great. Like, you're fantastic. Like, let's get around the campfire, you know, and have a jam. Dancing and singing. So the coolest thing to ever do, if you ever get together with the Bears or anything like that, make sure you say, like, okay, we're having an open mic. Like, you know, and then, like, 15-minute slots or whatever, and you can bust people's balls. Let the children go first because they really break the ice. But
Well, dude, I'm going up to Libertarian Productions ranch in 4 days.
Oh. Yeah.
Like I just talked to him earlier today, and like we've already agreed. I'm gonna be hitting him up and like arriving sometime on Tuesday. I'm gonna
get your
for, like,
GoPro
3 or 4 days.
Like do it properly because that's gonna be epic.
Yeah. Because like he said he's got that limo he wants us to shoot up.
Yeah. To shoot? Oh.
Yeah. So like he bought that limo. And he wants to put that limo in like the beginning of his driveway as a barrier against vehicles.
Yeah.
And he wants to shoot it up so that the limo has bullet holes as an intimidation factor.
Sacrifice a katana either in the hood or in like the windshield. I don't know if you could do a windshield katana blow, but you should like take one of your swords and just like leave it there, like stabbed into the hood or something. Be like, JapJap was here. Whack! You're looking at your.
I've already picked my sword for that. That's a brilliant idea.
It would be immortalized. It'd be like, no one can pull the sword from the limo.
Just like in the middle of the hood, like the hood. It's like, you shall not pass.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That could be definitely epic. What a clan is forming here. Can you believe that something like this would happen? You know, like using what the devil is deemed for evil, like this obvious like evil intention of this, you know, social media and stuff like that, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna freaking crush. Like, you got nothing, well, man. We're gonna build like Jesus Christ is building the church. I was thinking about that, right? Because you know the scripture that says, you know, Jesus Christ will build the church, and the gates of hell will not
overcome.
Yeah, like they will not withstand or whatever. Basically, the idea is that there's gates that are being overrun by God. And so, but what's the point? The point is Jesus Christ, the church that God builds. So it's like, it has to be that natural thing. And look at this, like the synchronicities. I mean, just the connections, like, and we're just one little snippet on Instagram of it, you know? And
are you familiar with Romans 8:28?
Maybe.
So it's literally exactly what you're talking about. I'm looking it up just so I don't misquote it. It says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And so the natural response of the satanic Hollywood political or whatever system of increasing their level of corruption and like sinfulness, the natural biblical response is for a group of people to be elevated by the Lord, because He wants to take care of us, according to Romans 8:28, and he's using these various negative things according to his purpose for those that love him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just, like, given the principles of magnetism, et cetera, it's only natural that in a time of significant stress and increased, like drastically increased level of sinfulness, that there would be a group of individuals, like whether it's the bears or other, like there's tons of groups of these people, like with similar mindsets to us, where it's like we're solidifying because we have similar God-honoring values and we see the world going crazy, but we're also not worried about it because we know that God has our best interests at heart.
Yes. Are we back? Are we back together?
Yeah, we're back.
Cool.
I kind of kept ranting because
good. I took a quick
loading
call.
thing.
It's right there next to it, baby. The called according to the purpose. People are like, what is your calling? Oh, what is God's calling? Like, it is actually the same calling that we all have, you know. And that's kind of that's it right there. And that's kind of the churchian kind of thing. You know, what is the call? What is your kind of vague. But
I would
call
say
is to become like transformed and stuff. Like, it's like the same call, so we are all in it together. It's not like I have a special ministry, you have a special ministry. It's like, well, we may have unique things that God wants to do, and he wants to see us do with our unique abilities and our unique, just desires. Because as a dad, I look at my kids and I'm like, I want you to be amazing, like in a unique, special, wonderful way. Like, I want you to have freedom in how you express yourself and how you act out, like God wants to be surprised by us. So there's the weird idea of like, oh wait, God knows the future from the past. That means everything is determined or whatever. Well, maybe you can look at it that way, but that's not practical. It's like God wants us to be cool and like unique,
Yeah, like how the centurion literally baffled Jesus with his faith.
Yeah, I've not seen
Jesus
any.
was amazed with the faith of the centurion. And so I think you're right. We all have that potential. And Trina Bear raised a good point. The churching aspect of me was went to the default of like, oh yeah, we all have our own little special gifts of ministry, blah, blah, blah. But then you immediately then brought up like fatherhood. And does that mean if I have special spiritual gift X that I can't also have the other special spiritual gift of being a good father? No. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so that's why I really enjoyed your perspective, is because that really corrected a little bit of churching in me, because like that's something I've been taught my whole life, where it's like, oh, you've got your special spiritual gift and you should emphasize on that, and like that's your thing. Are you a preacher? Are you a server? Are you a this or that? Like, no, dude. We were made in the image of God. We are multifaceted. And just because we have one specific blessing that is stronger than others, that doesn't mean that God is not blessed in other ways.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, the string is supposed to go on top of it.
And so it's just like, I think that's very perceptive of you. And like, I'm really kind of at my, like, you talk.
Sorry. No. Well, that's cool. I mean, the idea, that's the whole thing of like, I've got a talent or a skill. A skill is developed over time and practice, right? And you can have a talent for something.
Yep.
But, dude, if you're a child of God, wherever you put your foot shall be blessed. And you can walk in that. And you don't have to be like, well, did God do this? Or did God, maybe I should have, and then you second guess yourself, oh, I should not have done this thing because it is not God's will. Instead, you're like, listen, I'm not perfect, but wherever I go, like, I have the power of God. Like, I'm the authority.
Yeah.
I am the authority in this land, and people I forgive will be forgiven. And People like curse will be cursed, you know? Like,
dude, literally the blessings of Abraham. Like, do you speak truth, my friend? But Trainer Bear's obviously talking shit, and he's saying you're looking like the Lycan Moses, looking like in Moses.
Trano, I'm back in this one. It says, dude, handyman, handy Adam. I think that sweater is a really good sign. I think so too. I think we're breaking through with my lovely bride. And really, this is a crazy thing. We got married after 99 days of like falling in love. Not planned. It just was like, oh, it happened to be 99 days and then and then by our second anniversary, we had a family of 5. So it was like nonstop. You know, we had to get a minivan before our like
that's epic
second anniversary. Yeah, so it'll happen fast if anybody's worried about like missing out on having kids. It can happen really fast. And so then it was just like another kid, and you know, all the turmoil of that, you know, up and downs, and then my wife gets sick, you know, and we thought we had our last child at that point, and then she you know, climbs back from Lyme disease, which is a satanic thing. Like, it's a literal, like...
Your wife recovered from Lyme?
Yeah, 7 years ago, she got Lyme disease, and she couldn't, and we had a baby, she couldn't stand and hold the baby at the same time. We pulled the kids out of school, the girls out of school, and they basically took care of mama and took care of everything and were just amazing, and I continued to work. She never got better, and I found out about Lyme disease, which is a literal, like, from the pit of hell, like, spirochete bacteria. It spirals up like a serpent, and it protects itself from the poison. And then when the poison's gone, which is antibiotics or something, it opens up and ravages the body in different places. Like, and it's literally like
the spirit of Kundalini.
Yeah, and it's from Nazi scientists repatriated doing biological warfare, accidentally letting them go, right, on the population from New England. So, and I think COVID is a big cover-up, by the way, because there was a $5 million act, like, proposed to try to find out what the government knew about Lyme disease. Because it's come out that they indeed do know about Lyme disease, right? And so there was a big thing that came out last November, October. It was I don't know if it was an act or whatever. It was like something was passed, a bill or something was passed to look into it. And I think that's totally obfuscated at this point. But that's actually a real epidemic. That's a real thing. Bacteria is a real thing that you can see with your eyes, you know?
Well, it's like with all these social psyops, it's not just one thing. They try and like combine all the psyops they can, all the motivations they can. So it's like with COVID, if anyone knows about terrain theory versus germ theory, then it's like, oh yeah, COVID's nonsense. But then like there's the Democrats that are like, oh, let's use this for political reasons. And it's like what you're talking about is covering up of Lyme disease. And there's many, many motivations that all jump into this like one mainstream narrative. And like that's what makes these things so confusing. Like for people who want to get down to the truth, it's like it's not just one thing. There's a multitude of groups that are jumping on the bandwagon, and because there's so many people that are like trying to take advantage of this situation, it it makes the waters significantly more murky.
Okay. Here, check this out. You do it. You want to do it? Check this out. You see this? Check out the tent my daughter made. Ready? There she goes.
Your daughter made that?
Yeah, we just made this out of a. Somebody threw this thing away right here. They threw this in the like it was just being thrown away, and I was driving around town. I was like, "Oh, that thing looks great," and they were like, "Yes, this is gonna be for our play." So,
dude, that's an epic come up.
It's Aslan's tent from Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe.
Nice.
Yeah. That cool?
Dude, that is amazing.
Yeah, God provides so amazingly. When when you're desperate, that's when God like really like he's like, yeah, now I want to show you, like, I'll move this freaking mountain now. It's like you're like, I can't move any more mountain. God, please. And he's like, finally, dude, I would have moved the whole mountain from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like so the more you decline, it's like the more your pride gets taken down, and finally you're just like, God, I finally need you now. And it's like, dude, I've been waiting for you to tell me this
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Now I can help you. Now that you're humbling yourself and bending the knee towards me,
Yeah.
I got your back, bro.
Yeah, it's more important. God's like your intimacy with the Father is more important to God than you, like, than your ease, than your comfort,
Yes.
And when you
Yes.
realize that, you're like, oh, like that's a philosophy you can build your life around and you can lead your children. And it's like your ease is not the goal. Like being thankful because it's easy for a moment because you've worked so hard is more fulfilling than you just having ease. You know what I mean?
It's like one of the best analogies that I enjoy using is working out, like at the gym, is you can't get your muscle, your physical muscles, to get bigger unless you literally rip them apart through stress by working them out. And spiritually speaking, it's a very similar process where unless you allow God to take you to the ringer and humble yourself in a drastic way, you're just going to stay the same and you're just going to be a fuckface. But the more you can continually humble yourself and submit yourself to God, it's going to continually be painful. But as the journey continues, God is going to continually give you blessings in His timing because of your submissiveness to Him.
Yeah. And when you realize that, you're like, oh, like there's no time where you can't be like, in God's presence is fullness of joy. It's like, in order to get in God's presence, you have to humble yourself. So it's like, oh, you could actually humble yourself at any moment, get in His presence, and just be like full of joy, and
Yeah.
the joy where you could be weeping, like having the heart of God, where you're like,
Yo.
because that's the whole thing. I'm like, oh, you want to be happy? No, I want to have joy, which means when I see or think about the ravages of sin, it grieves me, thinking about human trafficking, dude.
Well, I think that's one of the most important lessons is learning the difference between joy and happiness. Because in the most tragic moments of life, if we rely upon the joy of the Lord, we can still be joyful in the most tragic moments. But if we just seek happiness, that's so beyond futile, that's literally setting ourselves up for failure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, because, well, I think that's a new concept. Well, I mean, not a new concept, but it's like, it's very, very, like overt, I would say. It's like an overt new kind of concept of like, you just want to be happy. Your joy is the most important thing. Your happiness is it's the American way, is like
Well,
the
see,
pursuit of happiness.
That's why I make the distinction between happiness and joy.
Yeah.
It's because happiness, in my opinion, is based on external circumstances. Joy is something you receive as a blessing from the Lord. And so that's why I say is if we are deceived by this pursuit of happiness, we're only seeking a futile accomplishment. But if we're really seeking true intimacy with the Lord our God, then one of the many blessings He gives us in the appropriate times is this eternal, like, unceasing level of joy, even in the most traumatic of circumstances. And that's like biblically backed, where God's like consistently saying, I'm here for you. Do not fear.
Yeah. And the thing is, he said it already, and like he is that way. I just want to believe, like, so people are like my mom. This is something funny because I'm going through this thing with my wife, and she's like, "Owen Benjamin, you're married to Owen Benjamin, the Bears instead of me. Choose one," you know. And I'm just like, it's like apples and oranges, sweetie. You know, like it's not replacing you at all. You know, it's like obviously. Can JapJap, are you willing to replace my beautiful wife?
Dude, that's the most absurd thing ever, but I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah. So no. But so I'm talking to my mom, and she's also just like, he doesn't like Jews. I was like, no, he's a friend of the Jews, an enemy of the Grabbler. I love explaining
He's a friend of the Jews, an enemy of the Grabblers, I swear.
Yeah, it's so fun explaining Owen to people sometimes. You're like, I can red pill you just by explaining a person. But
well, dude, so like I recently started volunteering for the Arizona Republican Party, and it just so happens that my quote unquote boss is like open sodomite. And so without even realizing what I was doing, as I was explaining Owen Benjamin to the sodomite, obviously one of the big issues of describing Owen Benjamin is his relationship with Joe Rogan, and like openly mocking Joe Rogan for being a sodomite and pushing drugs and DMT and shit. And so without even thinking that, oh, this dude's a sodomite and is like open about it, I was like, oh yeah, one of my favorite people on the internet was just making fun of a sodomite. And like it was really funny because he instantly changed the subject and he's never brought it up again. But he's simultaneously, he's really interested in the concepts of Owen Benjamin.
oh, that's cool.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, just as like an anomaly, like, oh, there's this one guy who got out of Hollywood alive. You know, it's like, what happened to him? Well, he's got goats and the kids now. You know, he's a total.
Well, so like tomorrow, I'm going to be volunteering and doing this whole canvas thing where basically I knock on a bunch of doors and like ask questions and shit. And if you're gonna be in the Arizona sun, you don't want to wear dark colors. And it just so happens that I have a white colored T-shirt.
And for no reason at all, God flooded the earth. Just for no reason at all.
So, as I have a homosexual boss, I'm going to be wearing this shirt tomorrow. And I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah, he's a little, I mean, in order to be that, like, he's got to be a little bit of a, what is it called? Not dissociative identity, but the, you know, where he's like, he's believing two things that are opposed to each other, you know.
Well, see, that's the crazy thing, is on the surface, I would agree with you, but due to the corruption within the Republican Party and like the perversion and such, there's a surprisingly large amount of conservative political people that are like low-key really like sodomites.
But they're more honest, maybe, with reality.
It's not more honest. It's just they're better at lying. And so, when I first was exposed to this concept,
they picked the winning team.
Yeah. So when I was first exposed to this concept, I wasn't 100% sure, but it was something I just got that resonated with me that I thought was true. And then I got connected to this whole political world, and one of my really close friends, he was about to go to a meeting with a bunch of like important senators. Raw Bear, good night. He was about to go to this meeting with a bunch of like important senators and congressmen and shit. I was like, dude, watch out. They're all secret homosexuals. And he was like, no, dude, no fucking way. I was like, yeah, dude, I swear. They're all secret homosexuals. And then fast forward a week later, the next time I saw him, he was like, dude, how the fuck did you know that? And I was like, dude, I'm a political nerd. I know the corruption of how things work. Like, I'm not a retard. And then I explained in depth, like, how I knew that, like, Dick Pound, welcome, welcome, like, all this shit. But it's just, like, the fact that he thought that the majority of quote-unquote conservative leaders were straight and heterosexual. And I was just like, before he went to that meeting, I was like, bro, get prepared to get your mind blown. And he went to this super special meeting, and he's like, what the fuck?
Like the Milo movement.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like, so my buddy that I was just telling you about, his name is Chris. And so he founded the Students for Trump Arizona State University chapter. And one of my other buddies, Osama, is the vice president. And then I'm the third most important person or whatever, the third chairman. I don't really know my title. I've got some special title. I just don't know what it is. And and so what's funny is like the first couple of tabling events we had, we literally went viral nationwide. And we, within like 2 or 3 months, we became the largest chapter of Students for Trump in the entire nation. And shortly after we got all that attention, I shit you not, a East Coast Jew was shipped out to ASU to manage us.
Oh, I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, and so like literally the first time I met him, I told both the president and the vice president, like Chris and Osama, I was like, guys, let me warn you about the Jews. Here's what's about to happen. And they both were like, dude, you're being hateful. Like, come on, man. And then fast forward 6 months, and they're like, PJ, how the fuck did you know this? And then I just explained the patterns.
Yeah. It's amazing how, like, you can be so prejudiced and right.
Right? How dare you?
Jesus said, judge not, lest ye be judged. Right?
What is that? Matthew something 26.
5, 6, 7, something. And it's in the Olivet Discourse, I believe. But it's like, judge not, lest ye be judged. And so that's like the weapons for like, oh yeah, judge not. Yes, lest, and you're just like, and it's like, well, have you read more than that one? It's like, he's like, take the log out of your eye. So it's like, yeah, you take the log out of your eye before you. And he's like, well, actually, the commandment is to take the log out of your eye so you can then help your brother. Like, the point is helping your brother remove the log out of their eye, the speck out of their eye, or whatever.
The old speck out of their eye.
It's like the point is not you. The point is them. Like, it's not about you, you son.
Exactly. It's about loving the Lord your God above all things, and then after that, loving your neighbor as yourself.
It's so good, man. What amazing. It's funny because I'm like, I've got these people, these people across the U.S. that talk normal, as in like, like like you wouldn't talk this way in the church, but it's just normal. Mm-hmm. Like I grew up in, like I was in the army, I was in school and stuff like that. So like talking, F-bombs, like talking real and not worrying about it, just being like, oh, did I say I didn't even know I said that. When people are like, hey, don't curse, you're like, did I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
my sister gets offended when I say fuck, but one of her favorite books/movie series is Harry Potter. I feel your pain.
Yeah. But I'm like, the level of gravy that we really reach when it comes to spiritual things, like real practical spiritual, how do we do this, guys? Like, how do we do this? How do we go forth and crush? Like, it's very practical. It's not like etheric. And we get into some crazy gravy of like, well, maybe we'll never know what the shape of the earth is, blah, 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 you know? It doesn't matter. But
we're
cool
willing to question the mainstream concepts.
Yeah, like, do you recognize when people are lying? That's a big deal. You know, I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tell my wife. I'm like, listen, I don't know what it is, but I know that these sons of bitches are a bunch of pedophile liars. You know, and this is the biblical view. And my wife tonight, she was like, don't say it's the biblical view. Say it's your biblical view. I'm like, well, Dr. Michael Heiser, like, had a good point. And he's like, just don't say it is the one. And I'm like, okay, it is a biblical view. It's like, but
it is
I'm like, you don't know,
some
like,
biblical
prophetically.
Scholars may or may not take, and that may or may not be the majority of biblical scholars.
Right. And I'm like, but the Holy Spirit.
Oh, hey, also, you've started you've low-key started a race war because your screen is black. Are you seeing the comments?
Oh, I thought it was paused. Hold on, let me go back. This is fun. Let's go back. How many?
Yeah, dude, between NWA Bear and Dick Pound, you've literally just started a race war.
Nice.
And I find it hilarious.
Well, race is a fun concept to think about. I mean, we don't have to actually agree that race is actually real, but we can talk about it. And people can
you see the comments
about race, you know? And
Handy Adam, can you see the comments?
I'm going back. I'm going back.
Dude, it's literally like most recent comments.
What?
It's literally so. I don't think you can see the comments. This is kind of something common.
Hold on. Yes, Ascension. It's about community, bro. Okay, I talked to Ascension. He went to bed. What happened then? Dick Pound. Oh shit. Wait.
So Dick Pound said,
your friend and the fag leaders. What? The fag leaders? I don't remember. Yes, I was.
No, dude. Right. You're like 10 chats back. So Dick Pound was saying.
I remember. Yeah, we were talking about, like, you know. Oh, that's I'm such a special boy. What's up, man? Check out my story after the stream. I will do, Dick Pound, and I don't want to say your name ever again. Oh man, I know how that is. Why is his screen black? That offends me.
There's where the race war starts.
Why isn't the screen white? Haha. We put 2 comment. You are very drunk. Who's drunk? Don't tell me I'm drunk. I drank, but I'm not drunk. It's a 2-man race war. Dick Pound. Haha.
Well, so the thing you gotta know about Dick Pound is 95% of the shit he says is to trigger people. Like, you know how Dimitri is just a constant troll on Owen's stream?
But he gets offended.
Well, yeah, so it's like Dick Pound is a more loving, hilarious version of Dimitri.
Like, he knows he's being a dick on purpose.
Yes, and he purposely does it, and it's hilarious because he does it in the most lovingly way he possibly can, as long as he can still be a dick. So, before you respond, we've got 90 seconds left. Would you like to continue the stream for a 3rd hour?
You know, the piece is flowing. I'm here. I see no interruptions. We've already got our pictures done of the flat earth sweaters. So my wife should be inside relaxing. Let's do it.
All right, brother, man. Sounds like a plan. I'm going to end this stream like a minute early, and then we just restart.
All right. Lighters up, baby.
All right, everybody. We will be right back. Dick Pound, go fuck yourself, but also I want you to be here soon so you can constantly troll us. Everybody,
may the race war commence. Race war commence.
Let the race war commence.